This video is made possible by Northern Crime's Patreon members, like you.
Hey everyone, welcome to this special holiday bonus video from Northern Crimes. Today we're following a developing story that's taken a shocking turn in the small port community of Valdez, Alaska. A few hours from where I live, it's certainly intriguing me. So this is really interesting. What started as a routine missing person case has now turned into what appears to be an increasingly complex investigation spanning hundreds of miles across South Central Alaska. And if you're not familiar with Alaska or you've never been here, well, let's just say it's hard to comprehend the scale and remoteness of this place if you've never seen it firsthand. So maybe some of you've been here, maybe some of you get it. But just take it from me. I've lived here my whole life. This place is massive. And when you get off the roads, I mean, you can disappear quickly. This is the story of Mary Jo Evans. She's an 86-year-old Valdez businesswoman whose disappearance is captivating Alaskans, and it seems to be leading investigators down an unexpected path. So Mary Jo was last seen in Valdez on November 5th. She runs a company called Valdez Copper Basin Insurance and is a familiar face at local community events. So when her family hadn't heard from her by around, let's say, November 12th or 13th, it sounds like they started to get pretty concerned. According to Valdez police, Evans was believed to be traveling from Anchorage to Valdez on November 11th, driving her distinctive blue 2020 Ford Escape with Alaska license plate JTD 365. So, I mean, I've driven from Anchorage to Valdez, Valdez to Anchorage numerous times. It's a long drive. It can be a little bit sketchier, more lonely in the winter time. So yeah, it's kind of hard to know what's going on here, but it's definitely a mystery that's unfolding in real time. Over the last few weeks, the Valdez Police Department has conducted searches for Mary Jo, and by their own admission, at least up until a few days ago, they'd exhausted all their leads. They coordinated with Alaska State Troopers patrol and aircraft sections. They checked with Canada Border Services. They contacted the Anchorage International Airport Police. They even worked with multiple cellular service providers and Ford Motor Company's satellite tracking system. But Mary Jo Evans had seemingly vanished without a trace. Now, for a little bit of context here, let's talk more about Alaska's geography. Glennallen sits at a crucial crossroads. It's where the Glen Highway from Anchorage meets the Richardson Highway. It's a small town of fewer than 500 people, and it serves as what locals call a, quote, supply stop en route to somewhere else, end quote. From Glennallen, you can head north to Fairbanks, continue east toward the Canadian border, or take the Richardson Highway south through the dramatic Keystone Canyon to reach Valdez on Prince William Sound. It's essentially Alaska's version of a highway junction town, the kind of place where travelers fuel up, grab supplies, maybe spend the night, or decide which direction to go to next. For Mary Jo Evans, traveling from Anchorage to her home in Valdez, Glennallen would have been a natural stopping point along the 300-mile journey through some of Alaska's most remote and rugged terrain. Here's where this story takes a pretty interesting twist. On November 12th, just one day after Evans was supposed to arrive home, a massive fire engulfed the historic Caribou Hotel in Glennallen, about 3 hours from Anchorage. The 35-year-old hotel was completely destroyed, burned, quote, down to the pilings, according to owner James Fields. Now, reportedly, everyone inside evacuated safely, but 5 vehicles in the parking lot were severely damaged. So for nearly 2 weeks, these seemed like separate tragedies: a missing woman in Valdez, a devastating hotel fire in Glennallen. 2 communities, 2 different stories. But on Monday, November 24th, just a few days ago, the power of social media changed everything. A Glennallen resident who'd seen the Valdez Police Department's missing person post made a connection that investigators had missed. Among the vehicles burned at the Caribou Hotel was one that looked remarkably similar to Mary Jo Evans's blue Ford Escape. Alaska State Troopers responded immediately, and through careful investigation of the charred remains, they confirmed what the observant resident suspected. The destroyed vehicle was indeed Mary Jo Evans's 2020 Ford Escape. But this discovery has only heightened the mystery. Mary Jo remains missing, and this brings up a number of questions. Was she a guest at the hotel? Well, from what I've seen in the news, law enforcement hasn't commented on this. And that said, initial reports are that no human remains were located in the fire debris. Okay, so another question. Was she simply passing through Glennallen? Well, obviously, she would have passed through Glennallen twice, on her way to Anchorage and on her way back to Valdez. And that brings up the final question. Did she leave her car at the Caribou Hotel, or did someone else put it there? And these are all questions that are hopefully going to be answered soon. So there has been some news media locally about this story, and I would imagine more is going to come out here in the next few days. But there was an interview with a woman in Valdez. She's actually Valdez's public information officer. Her name is Sarah Jorgensen Owen. She knew Evans personally, and here's what she had to say in a story by Alaska's news source.
She was part of the fabric of our community, and it's upsetting to know that she is missing and remains missing. They hadn't heard from her in a few weeks. Valdez is a small community. We're a tight-knit community, and especially in situations like this, we really come together and look out for one another.
Okay, so where things stand, the investigation has now been transferred to the Alaska State Troopers and the Alaska State Fire Marshal's office. New searches are planned this week around the Caribou Hotel site. And again, investigators found no evidence of human remains during the initial fire investigation, but now that Mary Jo's vehicle has been identified there, it seems like it's worth another look. So lots of unanswered questions at this point, but to me, this is an intriguing case that I'll be following closely. On the one hand, this case highlights how interconnected Alaska's small communities really are, and how a single social media post can crack open an investigation that had reached a dead end. It also shows the power of small town communities in an age where information travels faster than ever. So as we continue to follow this developing story, one question remains: where is Mary Jo Evans? Her blue Ford Escape has been found, destroyed by fire 200 miles from where she was supposed to be. But the 86-year-old businesswoman who was a pillar of her community remains missing. We'll continue following this story as it develops. Until then, have a great holiday weekend, and make sure and tune in this Sunday for the newest episode of Northern Crimes.